What's up, everybody? It's Nick here from thegameraccess.com, back with Unscripted Access episode number 11. I know it's been like 3 weeks since we've had a show. I apologize. We did actually record a show last week, but the show ended up getting corrupted, which sucked. And then obviously the week before, I was at E3 covering the event. So obviously you guys have seen the coverage up on the website. Hope you guys have been enjoying it. But we're finally back. We've got a full crew tonight, and when I say full crew, I mean it. We've got 7 people on the show tonight, including me, and for the first time we've got more females on the show than dudes, so that's awesome. So let me go ahead and introduce the cast. On this week's show, we've got Anthony Ta.
The Frog may or may not be joining us tonight.
Emily Royce.
Hey, guys.
Bridget Sexton.
Hey.
Bronson Fiore.
I miss Vanilla Bear already.
Danielle Kirk.
Hey, guys.
And Cammie Fortner.
Hi.
All right, so like I said, I felt like I was naming off the roster of a baseball team. We've got a full cast tonight, which is going to be awesome. We should have some great discussion. Obviously, E3 is kind of old at this point, but I kind of want to go through E3 just a little bit because you really haven't heard us talk about it. I mean, obviously on the Gamecast, if you listen to the Gamecast, we did have episode where Bronson and them pretty much recap the event, but obviously I haven't had really much time to kind of talk about what went down at E3. Obviously a lot goes on behind the scenes, and there's a lot of questions in the comment section that I'll definitely address and talk about. But E3 this year, compared to last year, I feel like as far as being there, I actually enjoyed this E3 more than last year. Now, I think that's more just because I was more prepared for it. Obviously, with the experience, you're better at planning and stuff like that. But being able to check out the games like The Last of Us, and God of War were the 2 most amazing games I got to experience at E3 this year. Got to play both of them. Absolutely blown away. I did an interview for both games, so if you haven't seen those already, be sure to check out thegameraccess.com. The Last of Us, as far as the AI goes, it's outstanding how it works. Essentially, pretty much, if you're going up against an opponent or an enemy or whatever you want to call it, if you don't have a gun in your hand, but he does, he's going to be aggressive. He's going to go right after you. If neither one of you have a gun, he's going to kind of think about it, and he's going to charge at you. If you've got a gun, but you run out of ammo, and he's within close proximity, and he hears that gun click, he's going to go after you because you know you don't have ammo. All that type of stuff, you don't really see that in video games. So it's nice to see Naughty Dog take AI to a whole new level with The Last of Us. The game also looks incredible. Extremely stoked for it. God of War, what really blew me away with God of War Ascension, the visuals look a lot better than God of War 3, and God of War 3 looked incredible, so definitely got to give it to Sony Santa Monica Studios. And then the online multiplayer is unbelievable. I originally thought, hey, it's going to be kind of thrown in. It's actually done very well. For more on the online, you can watch my God of War interview, though. We kind of go in depth on that. PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. I'm actually impressed. I was kind of like, it's Super Smash Bros. With PlayStation characters, and that is still what it is. But it's awesome. I got to experience it both on the PlayStation 3, the Vita, and crossplay once again. There's an interview on thegameraccess.com for PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. The game is awesome, and the PlayStation 3 Vita crossplay works flawlessly. So definitely recommend at least checking it out when the game comes out. If you don't have the $60 to spend or whatever, I'd recommend renting it at least. What I'm very curious to see what they do is as far as, okay, if you buy the PS3 version, are you going to have to buy the Vita version at full retail cost? That's what I'm curious about. I didn't ask on an interview because the guy, obviously he works for Superbot Entertainment. He helps make the game. He has nothing to do as far as pricing and promotion and marketing and all that stuff. So I did ask the Sony PR rep, and he said they will probably have something planned. He didn't give me a yes or no. He said they'll probably have something planned. Kind of hoping they do what they did with MLB 12 The Show, where you pretty much can get the PS3 version and the Vita version for $80 or whatever. I think that'd be a great value. Just because PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale is the same experience on the Vita as on the PS3. It's just you being able to take it with you on the go, and then being able to play PS3 versus Vita. It works flawlessly. You guys can watch it right in the interview. So that was a game I was also blown away by. Halo 4 is incredible. Halo 4 really blew me away. I'm not really a fan of the Halo franchise, but after there was actually a Halo 4 party that I got to attend, was a blast. Shout out to all the people I met there. I was really impressed with how the game plays, so definitely looking forward to that. Got to check out the new Gears of War. That looks incredible. The new Tomb Raider, I'm extremely stoked for. So, I mean, with E3, I can understand, like, if you were you weren't there, pretty much what I'm saying. If you weren't there, you're just kind of watching it. It's kind of like, there really wasn't anything exciting. I can understand that, but being there, this E3, there was so much. Getting able to play these great experiences, seeing the future of gaming, extremely excited. Be honest, though, I don't think E3 this year, from a viewer standpoint, was as attractive as the past few years, just because it was more of just games, not really any new gameplay experiences. But to be honest, I don't expect that to come till next E3. Next E3, I can almost promise you all that's when we're going to hear about the next PlayStation, we're going to hear about the next Xbox. Obviously, Nintendo, they pimped out the Wii U at this E3. Got to play the Wii U. I'm actually kind of impressed with the Wii U, even more so than I was at CES earlier this year. Zombie U is actually really fun, so that might be a game that actually convinces me to go with the Wii U, so definitely looking forward to that. But overall, E3 was great. The parties were amazing this year. Parties blew last year's out of the water. Fragdolls, the team over at Ubisoft, they threw a great party. It was all based around Far Cry 3. They had the whole theater decked out on Far Cry 3. It was awesome. Halo 4 party was awesome. Bethesda threw a great party. I mean, overall, it was just a great time. E3 was awesome. Getting to meet up with the people. Got to talk with David Jaffe again. Once again, an interview with him on the website. David Jaffe's always a cool guy to run into. Got to run into Michael Pachter, Major Nelson, all the cool guys, and other people in the industry that I communicate with. So, overall, this E3 was absolutely a blast. Wish I could have had more people from the staff come along, because if I understand correctly, I'm the only one from the staff that's ever been to an E3. So hopefully we can change that around next year. But yeah, I mean, we've pretty much already, it's like I said, E3's kind of gone and passed. I don't really want to get into who had the best press conference, this and that. That stuff's kind of old, but I mean, as far as E3 goes, it was an enjoyable experience. There's a lot of questions based around E3, so we'll get towards those at the end of the show. But overall, I had a great experience there. It went a lot smoother than last year. A lot better with coverage, which I think you guys can back me up on. There's a lot more interviews from this year. A lot better interviews with a lot of the blockbusters. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get some interviews with games that I wanted to. But for the resources that I had, I think we did pretty well with coverage. But with that said, I mean, next E3 is going to be pretty interesting. Probably going to hear about the next generation consoles, especially with a leaked document that was actually put out. It's actually kind of funny. I don't know if you guys have been following it or not, but the Xbox Surface. So the Xbox Surface was actually announced yesterday as a tablet on the Windows 8 platform. But have you guys seen the leaked document about what the next Xbox is supposed to include as far as specs and features? Have any of you guys seen that?
I think the leaked document said something about pricing and Connect 2.
$300 opening price,
including the Connect. If they could do that, that would be outstanding. But to be honest, that sounds too affordable. I mean, you're throwing in the next Xbox, which, I mean, it shows the specs. I believe it was, two 6-core processors. So you got 12 processors, 5 gigs of RAM. I mean, it's nothing too outstanding, but it's said to be, 3 to 6 or 6 to 10 times as powerful as the current Xbox 360. And then you're going to include the second version of the Kinect at $300. That is the one thing that I'm finding really hard to believe. And I could be wrong. I mean, if they come out with that price, that's going to be awesome. Because $300 for a console now is very reasonable. If you can get a next generation console with the peripheral you need at $300, it's going to fly off shelves. And the fact that every console will have a Kinect, that will be huge. Because it's just like the Wii. The reason why the motion controller has worked with the Wii is because every Wii you bought had a motion controller. Whereas with the Xbox, while Kinects have sold well, that was an additional peripheral. It cost, $150. Same with the PlayStation 3. PlayStation Move. Even though the PlayStation Move, people say it's not as expensive, you got to consider it this way. PlayStation Move, the controller's $50. You got the PlayStation Eye that I believe is like $40, and then you have the additional controller. So I mean, by that point, you're almost at that price of the Kinect. So it's just like with the whole headset type thing. Xbox 360. Why do more people communicate on headsets? Well, every Xbox 360 comes with a headset, whereas the PlayStation 3, that's not the case. So that's also helped the online network. So if Microsoft's able to come out at a price such as $300 and they include a Kinect with every console, you can look for Microsoft to implement Kinect even more heavier than they have this console generation. But, I mean,
I'm fine with that if they use it in interesting ways or good ways. Like, Mass Effect did it in a cool way. I thought that was was a great idea. Gunslinger was a fun game, so was Fruit Ninja Connect. It's just they need more ideas for it. Personally, if this thing is backwards compatible with the 360 and clocks in at $300, I will absolutely buy one.
Right, and the other thing I saw was it's going to implement that tablet controller. And this kind of what really got me to believe that this document is real is the fact that, okay, they called it the Xbox Surface, and there was a tablet called the Surface that just was announced Monday, and this was announced after this document was leaked. Plus, if you looked at the document, it's a 56-page PDF with official logos and diagrams and sketches, and if this is fake, I really want to know who spent that much time creating a fake document, because it looks extremely official. So I really don't think it's fake. I really think this is the real deal. But what do you guys think about the whole thing about it being based off a tablet controller, like using your tablet as a controller? I mean, that's pretty much what the Wii U's doing. Do you see that working well with the Xbox platform?
I think if it has buttons and fucking analog sticks, it's fine. Great.
Yeah.
Like that, like the Wii U controller looks pretty comfortable, and if they give me an option to switch to regular 360 controllers, even better, but, like I don't get this whole fucking obsession with adding a screen to a controller, but, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I don't...
I see how it opens some cool stuff, but, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can honestly see how, obviously the Wii U, that's what Nintendo's pushing. I just hope if Microsoft goes this route, like the one thing with Microsoft is they focus a lot on Kinect, which isn't bad. They've sold a lot of Kinects. They need to keep supporting the platform. I just hope that once they have if they go the route of a tablet controller, that they don't abandon what their audience is looking for, because you're gonna have a tablet controller, you're gonna have Kinect. I still want to sit down, play with my standard controller, and play my Gears of War, play my Halo.
I'm pretty sure they will offer that, but they're trying to get the biggest audience out there. I'm pretty sure they'll have the standard controller, much like how with the Wii you could buy the Classic Controller Pro, and how with the Wii U you can also have a standard controller. I'm pretty sure it's the same. They're going to offer a standard controller just like how the Wii does it.
Yeah, I mean, like you got to sell those accessories. That's a pretty big profit margin for them, because they don't sell those at a loss. Then in fact, like my whole big thing on whether or not I'm going to adopt this thing early is it backwards compatible? And what are the launch titles?
I look at these pictures, and in your case, Bronson, you're going to have a really hard time trying to use all the features of this new system, because if you look at the photos, you have 5 people standing, and you need all this space, and everyone's wearing, sunglasses, all these cool shades, just to see 3D happen in front of them or whatever. And you're gonna need a really big room for that.
I really hate this thing with Kinect, and now this is true. You need all this fucking space. Like, dude, I got 6 feet of space in front of my TV. That's all I got, because I had a bed in here. And in my living room, if I adjust things correctly, I can get about 8 feet for one person. So, I mean, Like, fucking, what does Microsoft, like, expect the majority of people to live in? Like,
Well, I guess their main demographic are, affluent families that have huge living rooms.
yeah, but, like, they're
The kind of person who can afford this.
the market for Xbox, like, the main primary market for Xbox is not that, though. Like, they want that, and they want the Wii market, but that's not their main market. The people who buy an Xbox are the people who bought Gears, Call of Duty, Mass Effect, Halo, Fable. Like, that's the Xbox's audience. Like, yeah, they sold 20 million Kinects, and there are some people who are casual, but like, those aren't the biggest selling games on the console. I think 2 of those games broke into the top 10 for the year they were out, and one of them was a pack-in with the Kinect. So, I mean, like, I don't know. And, like, let me ask everyone here, do you have 8 to 10 feet of space to play fucking Kinect games?
I have to move my couch.
I have absolutely no room.
I have the room.
I mean, I have
play Kinect all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I have the room, but at the end of the day, like, when I have the time to play games, I'm like, okay, time for me to stand up in front of a camera and flail my arms. It's like, that's not what I want to do when I play games.
I think,
like,
but that's not the market for the Kinect. Like, the thing is, like, they sell more Gears and Halo and stuff. Yeah, that's true. But the problem is there's more money to be made. In addition to that, in the casual market, and I think it's a brilliant idea. It gets families involved in gaming. It makes kids say, "I want this," and it makes their parents buy it for Christmas, and that's where the money rolls in. So they can still offer you your Gears, and they can still make it accessible to casual gamers and the Nintendo audience. But
like, the thing is, though, is like
brilliant marketing. It's good marketing.
Like, I imagine we all got involved in gaming at a relatively young age, I would think. And I played games with my family. They were called Donkey Kong and Super Mario Brothers and Double Dragon. And that's one reason I love the arcade, and I love the fact that Nintendo is still producing, the title, those franchises. But like, I feel as though they need to focus on making family games like that instead of trying to like shoehorn the Kinect down our throats. And that can be said same for Nintendo. Like, Nintendo, like, okay, Wii Sports was fun, but you're kind of shoving motion control down my throat. But New Super Mario Brothers Wii and Donkey Kong Country use close to no Wii controls, and they're great co-op family games. So, like
being a parent and having kids, like, there are a lot of games that are accessible and easy for kids to play on the Kinect, but 99% of the time, what I end up playing with my family is, like, the Lego games and Skylanders and stuff like that. So those options are still there. The difference is just that there's more of them now. And I'm never going to complain about having too many options.
Yeah, I think part of it is outside of my younger cousins who are finally about at the age where they're going to start wanting to play real video games. I shouldn't say real, but deeper experiences. Like, it's always great to have more options, but like, I don't have to go in and pick out a game for younger kids almost anymore. And now they're old enough to be able to pick up like T-rated, E-rated games. Like, I can show them Mario Galaxy or Muramasa, and they can get into that. It's not like where it used to be, where I like had to co-op Super Mario Brothers with them, or like play Wii Sports or Kinect, or I had to rent Kinect Carnival games. And I wouldn't be so irked about these motion control games if the majority of them were like really good. Because I'm all for motion control when it's done well. Zelda was a blast. No More Heroes with motion controls on the PS3 and on the Wii was great. But Punch-Out was an example of how you do it right. But a lot of the time, it's shit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm personally, and I've expressed this plenty of times, I'm just not a fan of the motion-controlled games. Like I said, when it comes to playing games, the first thing I think of is sitting down, using a controller, and enjoying my games. I don't like I said, if you have like a lot of friends over, or you're with your family or something, okay, that's fine. I mean, obviously, if you got family over, I mean, playing Gears, that's probably not gonna happen. Otherwise, you have a really cool family if that is the case. But I mean, friends, depending on what friends you're with. But like games like Dance Central, like I love Dance Central, but at the end of the day, I don't play Dance Central at my house. I don't even own a Kinect. I don't own Dance Central just because I would never play it in my house.
Yeah,
when I'm at a convention or in the hotel room with a couple people, sure, I'm down to play Dance Central. But like by myself, I just can't see myself. Oh, hey guys, I'm here by myself, so let me dance. Like that. That's not what I envision. Which is part of the reason why I'm not the best at Dance Central. Although I do have a winning track record, but I mean, I just kind of go with the flow. But at the end of the day, like most of the time when I'm in my room, I want to play my games. I want a standard controller. I don't want to flail my arms in front of Kinect. I don't want to flail a PlayStation dildo. I don't want it to work with any of that stuff. I mean, to each his own. I mean, some people like it. Like you said, there is money to be made there. That's why the Wii is so successful, and Sony and Microsoft are trying to get a part of that market. For me, I could care less.
See, my thing is, I actually do play Gears with family members sometimes, but it's typically my older teenage to mid-20s cousins. And in the case of motion control games, in hardcore games, I don't mind it if it's like Mario Galaxy, where it's like I flick my wrist and he spins. That, like, they're not all the games are flailing fucking around. And I think games that use it well are not like that. I think they're like No More Heroes, where it's like a quick slash across the screen, or Metroid, where you aim just by subtly moving your wrist. Like these games that are like the original Red Steel, where fucking you're moving your whole arm around. Yeah, okay. You know what? That's not good. There is money to be made. I think the Kinect, I did buy it essentially for Dance Central and social games. The only game on there I've played alone is the Gunstringer. That's it. And when we brought that thing over to our friend Terry's birthday party, Dance Central was a hit. Like, we had groups of two swapping out on it almost the entire time.
There's this really good episode of the show on Penny Arcade called Extra Credits. There's this episode that said that the Kinect is the uncanny valley of motion control. Because in the case of the Wiimote, most of the games I play on the Wii, I could actually sit down and play with motion controls. Metroid Prime and Skyward Sword are good examples of this. Whereas with the Kinect...
Sorry. Microsoft Kinect is way more of work than it is for a Wii. I don't know why everyone's big problem for Wii is that you move around for Wii and stuff. You're doing a whole lot more work with Kinect using your entire body in some games.
Yeah, like these people really over-exaggerate playing the Wii. Like, the only games you should do that for are, like, Wii Sports.
Which is standing for bowling and tennis, which is natural, right? Because, basically, for those who don't know what the uncanny valley is, there's this Japanese scientist dude. When you give and he notices that when you give a thing that isn't a living thing at all and give it some human qualities, it seems cool, like what Pixar does with iRobot. Thing is that if you keep adding human qualities, eventually it's going to look like... Huh?
iRobot is something totally different.
Sorry,
dude.
What is it called again? WALL-E.
WALL-E, yeah.
Yeah, basically you give something that's not human some human qualities and you think it's cute, it's cool. But if you keep adding human qualities, it's going to become something more like a roboticized human. And it is scary.
Yeah, it's shit.
Yeah. And so basically, in the case of the Wii, you have something with the Wiimote. You have something in your hand, which is why playing bowling on Wii Sports is lots of fun. I mean, you don't have a real bowling ball, but the Wiimote's right there. Whereas with Microsoft, it tells you to do all of this, pretend you're casting the spell, but you have no feedback coming back to tell you that you've done it. It just feels awkward. And then it says, do running, but you're not moving. It feels odd.
Sorry. But the Kinect is really creepy, like, because it watches you. Like, if you're sitting there and, like, you're watching Netflix and, like, the screen dims and you move, like it will know that you're in the room and it will like lighten up, which is why I like unplug my Kinect and cover it with like a towel before I will change in my bedroom.
That is
Like,
hilarious.
it is something that is like so advanced and technical, and like there's some sort of like it's like Big Brother almost, since we're talking about like just the technology and just how creepy it can be.
Yeah, back to what Anthony said though. Basically, the Wii is like a robot with some human characteristics added to it. Like we like it. It's kind of, it's vaguely human,
Yeah.
but it's really a robot.
But basically you have this
the
thing.
actual activity is a human, like a full-on human, and then the
going
Kinect,
actually bowling.
Yes, and then the Kinect is this horrible Frankenstein fucking monster
Bowling without anything in your hand.
who is in the middle and no one likes it. Basically.
Yeah.
No, I think that the Kinect has like the creepier, like human-like capabilities though. Like it can detect when you're there, like it knows where you're standing, and like the Wii just kind of is just like a controller with the gyro in it.
Yeah. I like to describe the Uncanny Valley, like I said earlier, as a roboticized human. It just feels creepy.
Yeah, basically,
It's just not right.
Basically, if you want a far more professional, better version of what we just told you, go to Penny Arcade, go look up Extra Credits, and it's the episode about Kinect.
Yeah. The Kinect is the Uncanny Valley of motion controls, is what they're arguing for.
Yes.
So,
So no new games have come out lately, except for Lollipop Chainsaw
Metal Gear,
and Pokemon Conquest.
Gravity Rush, and the Metal Gear collection just hit Vita. I've been playing through.
Vita games don't count. No one's bought that thing yet.
I did, because I'm a sucker. Just like I bought the PS at launch. I bought both at launch. Why? Because I'm a sucker.
I bought the 3DS at launch and I said never again.
Yeah.
I spent $80 worth of free games. I'll never play Nintendo.
Yep. No, what's best about the 3DS is I, other than Dead or Alive, didn't play a game on it besides goddamn Pokemon for months, and then Ocarina comes out. I beat it, and I'm like, crap. Do I still want to sell this thing? And then, like, what finally sold me on the Vita was going to PAX Prime and street passing with like so many people. It was so addictive. Like I think if you are a person who goes to one of those big conventions once a year, just that is worth owning a 3DS.
But there's no more Picto chat, so people can't type weird, inappropriate things when you're at conventions with them anymore.
Yeah, that you can't see a plethora of cartoon dicks. What a shame.
Oh.
well, Nintendo's rectifying that.
go?
Okay, well, Nintendo is fixing that problem.
Anthony, where will I go for my cartoon cocks? Where?
Nintendo has fixed the problem. Every morning you turn on your Wii U and you can see one.
Great.
So you don't need to be at a convention.
I don't know about the rest of the people here, but I want to wake up to crudely drawn pictures of cartoon dicks.
I'm just gonna go ahead and pass on that.
I think I came in at the wrong time. Like, how do I come back and I'm hearing you guys talk about cartoon dicks and
we just had an awkward silence moment. We're like, hey.
We started talking about we just started talking about the 3DS, and then she said Picto chat isn't there anymore, and I'm like, well, that is such a shame that at PAX we won't be able to see cartoon dicks anymore.
Cartoon dicks?
Oh, wow. That was an interesting discussion to jump randomly into.
Well, we had awkward silence. Like, hey, let's talk about something now. Let's go.
So let's talk about cartoon dicks. We got nothing else to talk about. Nah, but...
Hey, I started by talking about the fact that no games have come out.
Yeah, it has been kind of dead. I mean, Lollipop Chainsaw just came out. But, I mean, other than that, it has been kind of slow as far as the games releasing. And honestly, it's going to be that way for probably another month or two. I mean, this holiday season, I mean, we're going to have quite a few games coming out. We're going to have, I mean, PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. We're going to have Little Big Planet Karting. We're going to have Halo 4. We're going to have Call of Duty if you're looking forward to that. Which, I mean, that's another game at E3 that actually kind of surprised me. Like, do not let the Call of Duty name kind of ruin this game for. I highly encourage everyone to check it out. I had the chance to play it at E3, and I'm actually looking forward to it. I'm not as stoked for it as I am for some other games coming out this year, but I still recommend checking it out at the least. I had
to be reviewing it, everybody. So,
yeah, I mean, Bronson, I'm looking forward to your review and seeing what you have to say about it. But I mean, honestly, I kind of went to E3 and I was like, okay, this is gonna be another Call of Duty. Whoop-de-doo. And I got to play it and I'm like, this is actually pretty cool. So, I mean, that's another game that I would definitely put back on your radar if you have already taken it off. But, I mean, this holiday season, I mean, originally you're supposed to have BioShock Infinite. That was obviously delayed. We're going to have Call of Duty on the Vita, which, guess what? No one in the public has seen what that's going to turn out to be like. I mean, I had a chance to check it out at E3 behind closed doors. Very little was shown. But I was actually kind of surprised they didn't show what they showed me in the press conference, because it actually did not look bad. I mean, it was a very early build, which had me kind of concerned. It's like, okay, this is a very early build, but it's coming out this year. I don't know what they're doing, but maybe they didn't have they have a more improved build they just didn't have available for E3. You never know what's going on. But I mean, as far as the Vita, I mean, Vita's still kind of in that slow phase. Honestly, like I said, we'll have PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, which I think that should be a hit. It'll be very interesting to see how that game turns out as far as sales go.
My thing with PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale Super Mega Fun Time Fighting Adventure is the title's so ridiculous.
Yeah, let's just call it PlayStation All-Stars and call it a day. Why did they have to put the Battle Royale in there?
Fighting games have elaborate titles, and
I mean, think about it. When they come out with the DLC pack, it's gonna be like PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale,
Turbo Deluxe Hyper Edition.
Exactly, like
remix. Yeah, I like that game on the console seems awesome, but like that game seems like there's too much shit going on for me to want to play it on the Vita. I will say this though, one game you forgot to mention, Persona 4 the Golden, gonna rescue the Vita in Japan probably.
Yeah, Persona 4 the Golden had a huge
Persona 4 isn't. See, the thing is, Persona 4 isn't a ultra mega huge franchise.
Hey man,
in America. I mean, it has a fan base. It has a really dedicated fan base.
Praise that, because fucking A, that show in Japan has an anime and a manga. Like, holy crap.
Yes, but that's in Japan.
Yeah, well, I mean,
we'll see how it does when it comes out.
Well, I know several people who are buying a Vita just for that, but our circle of friends is weird.
Yep.
What I loved is how I sent Ashton the link of you could get costumes that make your party look like Power Rangers. And hold on, I'll pull up his quote because it made me laugh.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into the whole Persona series. I've never played any of the Persona games. Hate on me now, but I mean, I've heard a lot of good things about it. I've heard mixed things about it. Persona 4 the Golden had a huge presence at E3, similar to how they did last year with Catherine. I mean, everyone that got a media badge had a Persona 4 the Golden insert on top of their badge. Atlas had a booth.
Teddy.
Yeah, I took mine out just because, I mean, I prefer just to have my badge rather than having this, big plastic character hanging on my chest when I walk around. Especially with Catherine, it was kind of weird because, in the convention center, everyone understands. But when you walk outside the convention center and you have this woman in, clad clothing and people just look at you kind of weird. So once I got a couple looks, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to take this out. But Persona 4 the Golden... definitely, like I said, had a big presence at E3. They definitely had the marketing going for it. So we'll have to see how that goes. But, I mean, talking about fighting games, did you guys hear the news about Seth Killian leaving Capcom?
Yes, I was like, what the hell? But I forgot to give you Ashton's quote. The fuck, Atlas, I don't have the money for this.
Yeah, but, I mean, with Seth Killian, I mean, did he announce where he's going or what he's doing?
No, he didn't. He just said, hey, peace, I'm leaving the 20-something. Which is weird because... which is really weird because he's Mr. Street Fighter. He is the voice of Capcom to the community. It's so weird to see. I'm a big fighting game fan. I love Street Fighter. when Street Fighter 4 came out, I played nothing but that game for like 6 months. All my productivity just fucking dropped. And yeah, like, so it's really weird. I'm kind of curious who the new voice of that community is going to be.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like you've got the voice of all these huge. I mean, first it was, Robert Bowling. Robert Bowling, Seth Killian leaves. I mean, David Jaffe left. I mean, what's up with all these guys like leaving? And I mean, they're starting their own companies. I mean, don't be surprised if Seth Killian starts his own company or he joins another company. It's crazy. Like, usually it happens over time. But we've had 3 of the industry's biggest icons just bounce up and leave just this year. It's crazy. I mean, this year is only half over. So, I mean, who's next? I mean, you got to consider that. Who is next to leave? I mean, I don't know. It's kind of crazy. But the thing is, you don't have many icons like David Jaffe, Seth, especially Robert Bowling with, Call of Duty. I mean, when you thought of Call of Duty, the first person that usually came to mind was Robert Bowling. But, I mean, it'll be interesting to see where Seth Killian goes from here. I know I'll definitely, I'm not into the type of games. I'm not into the fighting games, period. I mean, that's just not my type of style. But Seth Killian's a really cool guy. I met him at E3 last year. He was at E3 this year. I just didn't run into him. But, I mean, end of the day, I think he's probably going to start his own company. I think they're possibly getting tired of doing the same thing every single year. I mean, that's what happened with Bowling. He was like, okay, I don't want to do Call of Duty anymore. I want to take a break. And Activision's like, no, Call of Duty is what makes us money, so you're going to make another Call of Duty. And hey, if you don't like it, you leave. Okay, fine, I'll leave. Peace out. And that's just how it works out. Capcom could have been pushing the pressure back on Seth, and he could have said, okay, screw you guys. I'm done. Which, I mean, that's probably what happened. I don't know for sure. That's just my guess. But I'm sure we'll hear something within the next week or so on that. But we definitely wish him luck on whatever he pursues from this moment on. But yeah, I mean, as far as the gaming news, I mean, there hasn't been much gaming news this week just because E3 just ended. It's going to be kind of slow until we get to the Tokyo Game Show. Like, Tokyo Game Show, honestly, I expect Tokyo Game Show this year to be bigger and better than E3 this year. Just because thing is, Microsoft pretty much threw it all out. Like, Microsoft's not going to be either at Gamescom or the Tokyo Game Show. They pretty much said, E3 was our presence. We are done for the year. Sony, Tokyo Game Show is usually ran by Sony. Nintendo always has a big presence. Obviously, with the Wii U coming out this year, I'm sure they're going to have a lot there. That's when I expect to hear a price for the Wii U, because we still don't have a price despite it coming out in you're looking at just a few months. I mean, possibly November, December, but it's coming out relatively soon, so we'll probably hear a price at the Tokyo Game Show. Gamescom,
And the launch.
yeah, I mean, yeah, in the launch date, like, when is it coming out? I'm thinking November, could be December, but definitely no sooner than that. Definitely no sooner than November. But we'll have to wait and see. It's gonna be the hot toy for this holiday season. It's gonna fly off the shelves. You aren't gonna be able to find it. Parents are gonna be beating each other up over getting the Wii U because that's what their kids want.
Any estimate on price, you guys? Like, what do you?
I'm saying $300.
If it's any more than 300, they're shooting themselves in the foot.
I'm gonna take a guess and say $249.99.
You're crazy as hell.
I think that they have a 4-year-old.
Great.
I'm sorry.
Great.
You, sir, are wrong. Just kidding.
The $250. You look at the hardware of the Wii U. It's not that impressive. I mean, you're looking at kind of the current state. You're looking at similar specs to like the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. Slightly better, not by much. But then you have the tablet controller, and you got to remember, Nintendo does not sell their consoles at a loss. They profit off every console they sell. I just don't see Nintendo being able to manufacture that console and tablet controller. And I understand that the Wii U is nothing really built into that tablet controller. It's just an external screen. All the power is built into the device, into the console box. But at the same time, it's like, are they also going to include one of those Pro controllers with it? I mean, what are they going to throw together? $250? I highly doubt it. If they announce any price under $300, I will be shocked.
if it's just the console and the controller, I'm totally saying 250. If they throw in a pro controller or a game, I'll go as high as 300. I also think that it'll probably be bundled with Nintendo Land. So,
but yeah, I mean, yeah, Cammy, the one you're talking about, the zombie game, Zombie U is awesome. Zombie U, I got to play at E3. It's awesome how it works. So pretty much, we were there. Amy, one of my assistants, was helping me cover E3. We were playing. Oh, you're talking about a different zombie game. But anyway, Zombie U is awesome. So on Zombie U, she played before me. She only lasted like 4 minutes, but I lasted like 12. But when I was playing, because she had died before me, I had to kill her zombie. Like, she was still in the game. Like, she died, but she was in the game in zombie form, which I thought was very cool. Gameplay is pretty awesome. Implementation of the tablet is pretty cool. And then we got to check out, like, Pikmin 3 at Nintendo.
How was Pikmin 3? Like, I know that I think I'm the only one here who has actually finished a Pikmin game, but what did you think of it from an outsider perspective?
Well, I'm personally not a fan of the Pikmin series, but I mean, the implementation of the tablet controller is awesome. Now, this is the thing. I have a strong belief it's going to be the same issue we have with the Wii, where the only games that are going to truly take advantage of this are your Nintendo titles. Because the thing is, like, if you implement the tablet controller correctly, it's awesome. Like, I actually love the gameplay experience it provides. But you're going to have your Ubisoft. Well, Ubisoft's making Zombie U. So Ubisoft, I think they're going to do a pretty good job. But you're going to have, like, your Call of Duty on the Wii U. And you're going to be able to look down the snipe on your Wii tablet controller, gamepad, whatever. Do this and do that. Where it's like, it has to offer a different experience without being... like, it has to offer an experience that actually makes that gamepad worth using and justifying it with the Wii U, just like the Wii. They made sure to do that.
Don't force the features.
Correct.
Yeah, don't force the tablet screen down the throat.
I'm really hoping they do what a lot of companies did with the DS, because a lot of DS games could only be done on the DS because of a lot of those features, and a lot of them turned out really good. Field of Magic. Elite Beat Agents, Professor Layton.
Brain Age. That's not exactly a game, but still.
I enjoyed Brain Age, though. Yes, I know.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're getting Theater Rhythm. But yeah, there were a lot of games that took advantage of those, of the touch and the motion and the mic. And I think the same can be said that'll hopefully happen with the Wii U.
Yeah, like I said, I hope to see the third parties really take advantage of it. That's my only concern with the Wii U. And I mean, it's not really a concern because the games that sell games that are sold on the Wii were your Marios, your Zeldas. Those games you don't have to worry about functioning correctly because they're coming from Nintendo. They're not going to ship a game like Mario or Zelda if it's not perfect. So we'll have to see how it comes out. As far as price, I'm going to say $300 just because Nintendo does not sell their consoles at a loss. If it was Sony or Microsoft, possibly $250 because they make back on their games, their peripherals. Nintendo, no, we're making money day one. So we'll have to wait and see, but we should possibly hear more at the Tokyo Game Show. And Tokyo Game Show, I don't know. Like, Tokyo Game Show, I don't really know what to expect. Like, E3, we knew it was going to be announced. For the most part. We knew it was coming. Tokyo Game Show? I mean, do you guys have any predictions?
I think that we're going to see a lot of weird Vita games that are not going to come to America, and that's going to piss me off.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah. They'll use AR technology, and then you'll be so angry.
I'm not a fan of AR technology. I mean, I don't know if it's just me. It's like, it's the whole, like, the Wonder Book. Like, that uses the AR technology, and I'm like, oh my god.
Well,
like, even on the Vita, I'm not really a fan of how that technology works. I mean, it's cool. Like, the technology is awesome.
Well, the thing is I don't want to go all the way back to our topics, but the thing is from that Xbox document, they're actually going to do all this AR stuff with the glasses stuff, AR in your living room through Wi-Fi and 3G or something. And I could see so many things going wrong with AR with glasses, mainly because, well, you have to account for the room and the fact that you're likely to hit something and break it. So,
yeah. One thing I would like to say is, when did fucking video games start like stray from just being fucking games? Like it's so hard to find a game that is just you can enjoy as a game. That they aren't trying to hype some type of new tech or some type of, or AR or just, goddamn, just, like, the reason Uncharted 3 was an amazing game and Catherine was amazing and Portal was they were all just good games. Like, these fucking gimmicks just rarely pan out,
Yeah, and that's part of the reason why...
I'm guessing it's probably because Nintendo introduced a tech, and a lot of people bought it because of the tech, and not necessarily because it had, Super Mario Galaxy.
Yeah, well, like, the thing is, though, is, like, you need a combination of tech and quality games. Like, the reason, like, all the Nintendo Wii games are fun, engaging games, that score high on Metacritic, and I ended up enjoying a lot of them is because they don't just focus all on the tech. Like Mario Galaxy, like there's a little bit of motion control for when you're riding on stuff and you use it to do your spin attack. They didn't focus on that. They said, all right, we're going to put this in where it's appropriate. Like same thing with Twilight Princess. Like, all right, to move your sword and aim, that makes sense. But we're not going to shove it down your throat. Like there's so many games that take advantage of motion controls in the right way because they're not focused on, okay, we have to use motion control. We're going to use it as a thing to make this more engaging or interesting. Like that's
I sometimes think they do that feature just because it gives it more bullet points.
Yeah.
It's like, we use this feature. Therefore it's better. We're not being old-fashioned.
But like Mass Effect 2, the Kinect support, just being able to go Garrus, Overload, like that is how you use Kinect properly. Like not this Ghost Recon flash in my goddamn hand. Like that's how you
fire your gun by looking like you're operating a submarine.
Yeah, like that's how you do it poorly. Like Mass Effect's how you do it correctly.
Even then, though, in the case of Mass Effect, that kind of stuff would have been better for a headset, because why should I spend $150 per foot just so I can shout commands across my living room?
Well, you shouldn't buy it just for Mass Effect, would be their first argument. And their second argument is, who the hell keeps their headset on when they play games by themselves? Ryan Davis had a tweet about that.
I do.
Headset on, not talking to anyone is sadness.
I use it for, I have like Turtle Beach surround sound headset.
Oh, well, that's an exception. I'm talking about a regular Xbox Live headset.
Like the headset that only works when you're in party chat.
I think they're just always looking for ways to try to just like really put you in the game or whatever, and they're just always trying all these different
why
things.
They put it on Kinect, and why they only want it on Kinect is because Microsoft wants to tell hardcore gamers who are skeptical about the device, look, real games run on the Kinect. You should get one.
I just find that kind of dumb and like it's the most immersive games though are not the one, and like the ones that draw me in don't use that. Like I'm trying to think of games I found really immersive over the past couple of years. Like Uncharted, the 3D is the only thing that the third Uncharted does that's really immersive, and even that, like, I kept it off most of the time. Like Mario Galaxy, like I said earlier, uses it when it enhances the game, nothing else. Resistance, Metal Gear, like
Heavy Rain,
that's another one that does use motion control, but it uses it in a correct way. Like trying to immerse me by focusing on tech is not how you do it. You have to make an engaging game first. Once again, I shoot back to Mario Galaxy 2 because I finished it recently and it's so well made and has so much variety in it. and just they immersed me by having like giving me a concept to work with. Like, okay, now you're Rock Mario, and you're gonna play this entire level. And once you start to get bored of this, we're gonna put you in a new level with a new ability where, I don't know, like you're a ghost, or you have to, you have to eat these light pellets to move forward, and you have to keep eating them to keep lighting up the area to move, or else you can't progress. Like that, like create an engaging game first, and if the tech works with it, then do it. Like don't focus on building around the tech, because then you get fucking horrible shit happening to you.
Well, right. I mean, the story and the characters and developing all that and making it where you're really gonna wanna get attached to it. That should be first and foremost, in my opinion. I mean. Then, if you can add something cool like that, then go ahead. I'll try it out.
Yeah, like you shouldn't, the first thing you should always be worried about is creating gameplay. Like, it doesn't, the fucking story, aesthetics, all that shit doesn't matter if you don't have fucking...
Right, and how it plays.
Yeah, a great core wrapped around it. I really enjoy a lot of games, that do not have great stories, but they play great. Like Bayonetta has kind of a crap story. It's really weird.
Yeah.
Idea what's going on, but it's a
cool game.
But they focused on making the gameplay engaging and fun, and that's why I was compelled to play it. Like Mario, the story is save the princess, or Donkey Kong, get your fucking bananas back. But those are two games that are just. That I can always go back to and enjoy because the gameplay is so solid. But like Final Fantasy 13, I thought it had a good story. It looked great, but its core combat system and gameplay didn't become engaging until like 10, 15 hours in.
Yeah.
I think the general direction of the industry at this point is glamour. Glamour is a great marketing tool. Glamour will get people's attention, and glamour will get people to go and buy it.
But it doesn't, though. Like, that's the thing. I
feel like it could be the same thing with. I don't know why I keep bringing cars up, but stylish car could drive terrible, could break down a lot, but man, it is something really cool to look at, and people will think it's cool when you drive by. So you would buy it. So there are some people who would buy it because it looks cool and, makes for a great marketing tool.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 13?
Yeah, I kind of feel like that was the case too.
Shittiest story ever?
Don't get me started with Hope, okay?
We're not going to start talking about that game.
I hate that game so much.
Okay, Hope, Saz, and Snow aside, all the guys kind of failed in that story.
That's awesome.
I didn't even play it long enough to learn.
Saz was okay.
I enjoyed Saz. That dude had a...
That's because, look, the only...
Because the token black guy's always the best
only...
character in every Final Fantasy game.
I feel like they got a little too stereotypical at times, like in his character.
No, I swear, Lightning is always all strung up. Snow is just like freaking lovey-dovey guy who just constantly needs his love stories done. Vanille's overly perky and then has her mental breakdown later. Hope is some insecure child who's crying for his mommy all the time. All of a sudden needs his vengeance and then realizes he can't get his vengeance and then becomes an inspirational speaker. Saz is okay. And Fang is really has a very shallow personality, and that's me ranting on all the characters.
Okay, I would just like to say
I really like Sarah, and I'm glad they kind of focused on her a little more with 13 too.
Sarah's okay also. Anyways, Bronson.
I bought it for $13, ironically. And I played. I got like a quarter of the way through it, got stuck on a boss, and just wasn't compelled to finish it. Same thing with 13. 13, I actually was I got halfway through it and was like, man, I don't want to play this anymore, but I kind of want to find out what happens because the story's all right. So I ended up watching it on YouTube.
That's what you did with Final Fantasy 13 also. You watched Final Fantasy 13.
Yeah, exactly.
You didn't play the end of Final Fantasy 13.
I watched
it. Which 58 hours just to finish that. Oh man, that was not fun.
As far as characters in that game, though, I pretty much enjoyed everyone except for Vanille and Hope. I thought Snow was alright. I liked Zaz. I liked Lightning. In fact, I actually have a figure of Lightning in my room.
See, this is what I think about the Final Fantasy Tuesday story. The concept is great. Execution is really, really bad.
Yeah.
It had such cool concepts about the whole two worlds thing, and
I
forgot what
feel
else.
like they're trying to like appeal to casual gamers a little too much with the new ones like 13 and 13-2 though. The battle system's like so easy, it's ridiculous.
See,
I don't. Yeah, it's the battle system. First off, I think I'm more for the old school Final Fantasy games in which you control every single party member. But the thing is that when you have your party members be controlled by AI, they have to be very good and very smart when the fight comes down to the line, and they're not. So and the way they designed it too wasn't very good. Yes, it is somewhat entertaining to mash A lot, but the boss fights, they would always do some kind of stupid BS move combo that ensures your death, and it doesn't matter. Like, you can level up 5 levels and they'll still pull off the BS move combo. So you can only hope you are lucky enough to take them down before they can do that.
That's the exact reason I enjoyed. One of the exact reasons I enjoyed Persona 4 more than 3 is because in 3 you can control all your party members until the portable version. In 4 you can also. Another problem I had with 3 was Tartarus was fucking torture.
I love
the music.
I love the music, but
I loved the music in 3. Like, it was so much better than 4.
Baby.
Yeah, I enjoyed
my dread.
Yeah, I enjoyed 4 pretty much more in almost every way except for a couple of the social links. But like I would love for JRPGs, like, when did having a normal turn-based battle system become fucking a bad thing? Like Final Fantasy 6, 7, 8, 10, basically the last, those were all the really great ones. Had turn-based.
Basically all of them before they tried to go online.
Yeah,
were good.
Basically 10 back is when you want to play Final Fantasy.
10-2 was a little weird. I'll give it that. I mean, I played it for the story, but
yeah, 10 is my favorite. 10 followed by 6. But
8
yeah,
for me.
Yeah, like, I don't know. Like, back to the core topic, the original topic though. Like, even if you have the world's most compelling story, if you don't have a good route of gameplay where I want to play it, I'm not going to want to finish it. Like,
I am playing a video game.
Yes, it's
not a movie.
Like LA Noire, I personally, like, I know a ton of people liked LA.
Loved that game.
I personally couldn't get into the gameplay, and I loved the story, but because I didn't find the gameplay engaging, really, I just kind of made some progress, and then it's been on my shelf ever since. That's an example of that. Or Mass Effect 1. Like, Mass Effect 1's a perfect example of that. Like, I loved the story and the character.
Yeah, Mass Effect 1.
And it looked great, but it took me, like, 2 years to finish that game.
Mass Effect
because
1.
the gameplay is just shit.
Mass Effect 1 did so many things right. Possibly one of the best sci-fi stories I've ever seen. Really great sound, really great voice acting, really good conversation system, incredible beginning and end, but they had some gameplay design problems and performance issues, and
yeah, but
for example, shooting is really bland, and your item sorting wasn't very good, and driving that tank on the planet was definitely not very good. So,
yeah,
and that just kind of gets in the way of the story, because you are playing a game in between the story moments. So, yeah.
Yes, exactly. like the reason GTA 4 was so successful is that game had an amazing, deep story that commented on a lot of things about society and man, but it also had solid shooter gameplay and a bunch of crap to do, and the open world was really impressive. If that wasn't the case, that game would not have been scored 9s and 10s and given all the praise that was given. Like it would have just been like, the story's great, but the rest of this is kind of So yeah.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and head into the questions. Questions are from 3 weeks ago, but E3 related. I was at E3, so we'll go ahead and talk about that, the experiences I've had, and there's a couple non-E3 related questions. So I'm going to hand it over to Bronson.
All right, the first question is directed at me. Last podcast, you said you are evil. If this is true, watch out before Dennis vanquishes you back to hell. My question for Bronson is, how does it feel to be lesser compared to Dennis?
Do it in your Dr. Weird voice.
All right, hold on. Bronson! Yes, you said you are evil. If this is true, watch out before Dennis vanquishes you back to hell. The question for Bronson is, how does it feel to be lesser compared to Dennis? I am not lesser! Okay, there we go.
Got there short and sweet.
Slice the DNA of a fried pork chop with that of my roommate, Randall.
Whoa!
Hell yes, whoa! Alright, we go. Everyone who watches Aqua Teen Hunger Force knows what I'm talking about.
Sweet.
Are you ready for the next batch of questions?
Yes.
Yep, and there's a lot of them from Chaseway.
Chaseway, you son of a bitch. I love you and wish you would do this on the Gamecast, but just next time throw some of these to the other podcast. Anyway, what company had the best performance? Sony for me. You guys?
Sony as well. I think Ubisoft had a great performance for not being one of the top 3 companies, being Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo. As far as a publishing standpoint, I think Ubisoft did a great job. But as far as overall performance between The Last of Us, God of War, I mean, I got to give it up to PlayStation.
Okay. Anybody else?
I would say Sony.
Sony.
Yeah. They
Hands down, Sony.
They showed me a lot of really cool things that made my purchase of the PS3 worth it. But kind of wish they showed more Vita stuff. So, or something that makes the Vita feel like it's worth owning. So, anyways.
Okay. Next question from J-Swipe. What was the biggest shock throughout all of E3?
The biggest shock would have to be Sony's lack of PlayStation Vita announcements. I expected them to really focus heavily on the PlayStation Vita at E3. And, I mean, yes, they announced Assassin's Creed with the female protagonist, which is cool. But outside of that, PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, yes, but that's a game that was already coming out to the PS3 that we knew about. Call of Duty Black Ops, you showed a logo and cut it off. That was the biggest shock to me. I really expected Sony to focus on the PlayStation Vita. They've invested so much into the platform, yet they've kind of let it fall off. And E3 was their time to bring the system back to life, and they didn't do so.
Okay.
For me, I'm debating between two. The first is the way the Microsoft press conference ended and the way Nintendo's press conference ended. Really? You end with Black Ops, and then in Nintendo's case, Nintendo Land. I just look at that as
those fireworks in Nintendo Land didn't blow your mind? What?
I know, right? How can I not be excited about my me being dressed up like Link playing some stupid carnival game?
To be fair, the Luigi's Mansion game looks like a clone of this GameCube Pac-Man game that was really fucking awesome.
Mm.
So
the other big shock that I was thinking is, why? Why do you guys have to spend so much? Why did Sony have to spend so much time on the Wonder Book? I was just,
oh God,
I was completely shocked that they would dedicate so much time to the Wonder Book.
But guys, Guys, Harry Potter, J.K. Rowling, come on.
I know we need more Pottermore.
Come on. I want to have put a fake book in front of my TV and wave a wand around like an idiot.
And kill butterflies. And set butterflies on fire. Great.
And yes, dude, who does not want to light butterflies on fire?
The fact that they could have
I cried
spent
with joy the whole time.
Yeah, the fact they could have spent that time on the PlayStation Vita just upsets me. It really does. Like, and even like Sarah, she put up an article this week about like the PlayStation Network games and how Sony just threw all these PlayStation Network games, never gave them any of the attention that they really deserved. Couldn't you have taken a little time off Wonder Book? I mean, they spent, what, like 15, 20 minutes? Like, I was sitting there live at the conference, and they're like, okay, Wonder Book, J.K. Rowling. I was like, okay, at least they're going to bring her out. They didn't even bring her out on the stage. And, okay, you're talking about it. You're still talking about it. You are still talking about Wonder Book. Really? Like that?
And now we're going to do a very long demo of it.
That didn't work. The lady couldn't even get the thing to work. It kept failing live on national television in there. And I was like, just get her off. Like, show us the next thing. Like, we don't care. Like,
maybe from a business standpoint, it is, we need something that generates sales numbers. And needs to be publicized to get people to buy a PlayStation, but...
All right. Well, that's that. Next up. Nick, what was your favorite moment at E3?
Favorite moment was just...
Wait, you missed one. What was the biggest disappointment throughout all of E3?
Biggest disappointment?
I think we covered it.
Yeah, kind of not seeing
Wonder
Sony talk
Book?
about the Vita, and
So,
Wonder Book, that was kind of upsetting.
Sony, yes.
But my favorite moment at E3, I mean, it's the same with every event. Just like reconnecting with people. I mean, there's a lot of people to communicate with in the industry. Unfortunately, we don't always live close to each other, so finally getting into one central location, running into each other on the show floor, meeting up at parties, meeting up for dinner. I mean, stuff like that, just reconnecting with people in the gaming industry that you both have mutual respect for, and they're doing big things in the industry, you're doing big things in the industry. It's just that bond, really. You don't really get that anywhere else. I mean, I love talking to people about games and doing that, but just reconnecting and chilling with the people, understand that these people are real, living human beings. They're not just people that work at companies and things like that. So,
Except Nick. Nick is actually a robot.
Yes, I am. The secret has come out. Thanks a lot, Bronson.
Yep.
Next question.
All right, next up is... Nick, what was your favorite moment at E3? Oh, wait. Yeah,
we just did that.
Okay. Nick, how did this E3 compare to last E3?
I kind of spoke about that. I actually liked it, this E3 better from the standpoint of being there. Not as far as the announcements, but being there. I felt I was more prepared and enjoyed this E3 a lot more. The parties this year were a lot better than last year. And yeah, I mean, I was just better prepared for it, as you guys can kind of see with the coverage. I mean, I have like double the coverage that I had of last year. So, overall, I mean, the announcements, I felt announcement-wise, there were more shocking moments last E3 than this E3. But overall, as someone that actually went to the convention, I'm going to have to give it up to this E3 as far as the better convention. Okay,
Nick, who was the coolest person you met? Keep this short.
The coolest person I met at E3, that I didn't meet before, Adam Sessler. Adam Sessler's a really cool dude. I met him for the very first time at E3, and always heard he was cool, but actually meeting him in person, talking to him for a good 15-20 minutes, the guy is awesome.
Okay, next up is from Turnaround Shot. And he says, based off what was announced at E3, how do you assess the future of the PS Vita, the PS3, 360, and the Wii U? Let's start with the Vita. Bleak, but I'm excited for a lot of games for it because I'm into weird Japanese stuff. Strong future in Japan.
Yeah, the Vita, I feel that they really need to focus more. I'm really hoping to see something more from Sony during the Tokyo Game Show. The PlayStation Vita is a great handheld. I still haven't given up hope for it. The PSP got off to a slow start. Even the 3DS got off to a slow start. So I still have faith in the platform. I just feel Sony needs to really rejuvenate the platform and get it back on its feet.
I'm from the standpoint where I don't have a Vita. I'm hoping they show something interesting about the Vita, but I'm also not the kind of person who digs in the back for all the smaller titles. And
Hatsune Miku, man. Get blow my minds.
never heard of it. But
Cinemora.
But currently, Sony
Ooh,
has
really?
not. Sony has not convinced me that the Vita is something I need to own. But
Anthony,
probably it's just continuing its slump, and hopefully next year could surprise all of us.
nah, Anthony, I gotta show you some titles coming out for that thing that look rad.
I know, but I'm from the standpoint from the person who wants to see cool things for the Vita, but are unlikely to dig in the back for all these little tiny small titles. So
Project Diva, Game of the Year.
yeah. But as for the future of Vita, for me, it just looks uncertain. I don't know if it's going to do well. I don't know if TGS is going to take care of it. I just don't know. So, hopefully well. So, yeah. Carrying.
Anyone else?
Pokemon Conquest.
Oh,
Sorry. It's
PS3.
so good.
It's okay. I'm in that mode. All right. So next up, we got PS3. Future's bright. It's gonna close out strong in its twilight years. Not sure if it's ever gonna overtake 360 on the sales chart. Kind of a bummer that they go from first to worst, but oh well.
Yeah, the PlayStation 3, I mean, it's kind of in the same position it's been the past 2 or 3 years. They got great games coming out for it. The platform's selling decently well. As far as catching up to the 360, I don't think it'll catch up. I think it will surpass the 360 in sales, but it won't be until the next generation consoles come out. I think that it's still going to be close, but I do expect the PS3 to surpass 360 probably 3 to 4 years from now. But overall, I mean, you got The Last of Us, you got God of War, you got PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. We still need to see stuff about Agent from Rockstar. I mean, there's a ton of great games coming out for the platform.
My big problem with Sony is this holiday. It doesn't look like they have much exclusive content this holiday.
This holiday compared to last holiday, correct. Last holiday season was insane, but it seems like more PlayStation's focus is on next year with The Last of Us and God of War. Like, having The Last of Us and God of War is huge. Those are two huge titles. I have a feeling there will be a new Killzone next year. So I really feel that PS3, it's going to have a slow ending. Yes, you still have PlayStation All-Stars, which a lot of people are looking forward to. Little Big Planet karting. I'm interested to see how that turns out. But next year is going to be insane.
Persona 5.
Every year, Sony comes out and they say like,
Bronson.
we're not going to compete with everyone during the holiday season. We're going to release all of our stuff in spring. Like they always release God of War in spring. They always release like I'm pretty sure the Killzones came out in spring too, and Resistance usually comes out like early fall when they do new Resistance titles. But like what ended up happening with God of War 3 was it didn't come out during the holiday rush, and everyone forgot that it came out in March, and people were coming into my store like for months like, oh, God of War 3 is out? Oh, I forgot to buy that. And it ended up being like kind of a lackluster thing because it just wasn't selling because no one saw it on the shelf.
There's a similar problem.
I remember that like games do come out in that time period and they can sell all right if they get enough marketing behind them, or they're a game like Grand Theft Auto. And so
you're really gonna have to push God of War, a lot of marketing out for it though.
Yeah, like Sony, I mean, Uncharted did come out in the holiday. Like they put Uncharted out in the holidays. They put the first Little Big Planet out in the holiday.
See, the thing is,
Sony doesn't market enough. That's one of their biggest issues. Is they have great commercials, but just like they're so rare unless you watch baseball, because for some reason they have a big deal with the MLB. Because when I watch baseball, I can't go 5 minutes without a PlayStation commercial.
The thing is, some games get pushed to the next year because having too many games crammed together could cause the same. Wait, that game is out, and it just flies. In the case of, I think it was. I don't remember. It was probably Mass Effect 3, Mass Effect 2. Or, I don't remember. It was one of the It was either Mass Effect 2 or 3. Got pushed to the next year because
it was 3.
Otherwise, it would be competing up against the same week as Call of Duty.
Yeah, it was 3.
And when you have a limited budget, kind of makes it. People have to start choosing which one do you want.
Well, I think it was less about it competing with Call of Duty and more about it competing with Skyrim, because they both came out that same week. Call of Duty was the 9th and Skyrim was the 11th. And Mass Effect, I believe, was like slated for like the week after that before they pushed it around.
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
But, like
I remember that holiday season super
but,
well.
but really, they're releasing PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale during holiday, and they're not going to release God of War during holiday. I mean, All-Stars Battle Royale is going to get absolutely smothered by the rest of the holiday lineup.
Well,
And God of War is something that would still stand out.
part of that is because, you know, the game might not be done.
I understand entirely, but they always release God of War in March, and I just think
Yeah,
it's a
God of
bad
War
market.
always release. They always release in March, but this is the thing. I understand what you're saying, but you gotta kind of look at it this way: when God of War releases in March, what else is there gonna be? Like,
Just
Yeah.
nothing else.
You got Dragon Age.
yeah, but let's be honest here. Those games aren't.
Dragon Age.
Those games don't compare to the popularity of God of War. I mean, God of War Ascension,
Yeah.
arguably.
But unless someone has a reason to go into the store and see it on the shelves, they're just going to forget that it even exists.
That God of War exists?
That's what happened with God of War 3.
God of War Ascension, I don't see that being the case. As I really hope Sony... Well, yes, Sony's marketing is not where it needs to be, but I really feel that God of War Ascension's... the hype for the title is much greater than God of War 3, just because a lot of people want to know, okay, how did this all begin? This is going to take us before the original God of War. We're going to see pretty much what made Kratos so pissed off. I mean, we know what, but how it all came about and what he does about it. And the fact that it has online multiplayer, that's huge. I mean, in this day and age, everyone wants some type of replayability. They want multiplayer in the games. God of War has never had multiplayer until God of War Ascension. God of War Ascension's multiplayer is not just an add-on, it is a full online experience. I was skeptical about the whole thing until I played it at E3 this year.
I have the sales for the God of Wars here, not including Walmart.
But God of War 3 sold well. I mean,
are they lifetime? Are they lifetime or are they launch?
This is Lifetime, but
See, that doesn't really help.
the God of War 1, 4.45 million, God of War 3, 4.39, God of War 2, 4.07. And then Chains of Olympus was 3.08. The collection's 2.4, and then the rest of them are actually under $1 million. So, yeah. I'll try and look up the launch numbers for you.
Yeah, they weren't.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, it may not have been a
You
freaking.
got clearance that like a month later.
It might not have been a launch hit. It was a slow burner, but I mean, at the end of the day, how well the game sells overall, I mean, that's how much money the company is pocketed regardless. They aren't just making profit on what the game receives.
Oh yeah,
launch
but
day,
they're making $60 on it the day it comes out, and then they're selling it for $20 2 months later.
Well,
no, with God of War 3 though. God of War 3.
One,
I mean, what's God of War 3 selling for now? I mean, it's not $20.
$19.99.
It is $20.
Yep.
New or used?
I believe used, and new I believe is out of print. At least GameStop doesn't carry it anymore, and you can't find it at the big box stores because they don't carry older titles.
I will check right now. I know I know it's a greatest hit.
But God of War 3's been out it's been almost 2 years now, though. So I mean,
it's $25.
I'm curious to know when it dropped from that $60 price point because
it was $30 2 months later.
It's $30.
I recall this.
New. Still, first day pulled in 33 million, and it sold 550,000 units. Which, to put that in perspective, that's how much my beloved Catherine sold almost all of last year.
Well,
you rat bastards! Go buy that.
They're not working on that, and they're not working on marketing that too much in North America, though. That's not worldwide.
Yeah.
All of Alice's money's in Japan.
Well, I'll tell you, Catherine's worldwide sales. Let me find.
Like 600.
Honestly,
It's like 620,000.
That's sad.
Yeah, considering that Xenoblade actually
It's a
did
much
better
better
than
game
that.
than God
it's
of War.
No, Nick, that's fighting words.
No, I'm not. No, we're not going to get in the argument because that's gonna be brutal. That's that's gonna be brutal, and that's gonna make this show way too long. So moving on, how do we assess the future?
Worldwide, it pulled in 660,000, and it actually did just as much in North America as it did in Japan on the PS3. On the 360, it did more in North America. Surprise, surprise, because, they don't sell 360s in Japan anymore.
Yeah.
Well, they do. It's just major retailers won't stock them anymore. So
how do we assess the future?
I haven't assessed the future of the PS3 yet.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead, Anthony.
Yeah.
I swear, it's always you.
I think it's not going to be explosive, but I think it's going to be steady because with what they showed at D3, I have good faith that the fan base is going to stay there and keep the platform afloat. So, yeah.
Okay. Next up, 360.
I say they are on cruise control.
Pretty much.
I agree.
They have figured out the perfect formula to keep their sales numbers up, and all they're doing now is just hitting cruise control. Let the whole thing coast.
Yep, pretty much.
I agree. I mean, the 360, pretty much you got Halo 4 in the next gears, and it's pretty much done. I mean, we still haven't said anything about Rise, the Crytek game. Like, that was announced 2 years ago. We saw the...
Dance Central 3, you can do the hustle. What's up?
Nike Fitness every day will wake you up at 5 a.m. to tell you that you're fat and work out.
Teach Me How to Dougie is apparently Nick's song in it.
Oh, yeah. I don't mess with my Dougie. But anyway...
Hustle, baby. Classic.
But at the end of the day, like, the 360 is a great platform. They've done a great job, but it's kind of that time especially Microsoft, like PlayStation, I feel PlayStation could still go on strong for another 2 or 3 years, but Microsoft, it's kind of hit that point where it's like, okay, we need a new console from you guys, we need a new experience, because PlayStation, they're still delivering brand new experience, like The Last of Us, you don't see many games of that caliber. You have God of War Ascension, which is looking to be incredible, so the PlayStation platform, I can see going for another 2 or 3 years, but because you have the Wii U coming out, more importantly, the next Xbox coming out, PlayStation needs to get out at the same time, because I highly doubt PlayStation is going to let that full year lead get ahead of them again, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what platform people prefer. It's the fact that, oh my god, look at these graphics, I want that console now. They're going to buy that console, and if they invest heavily in that platform, they might not have the money for your platform when it comes out. And guess what? All their money's pouring into them.
That's exactly what happened with the 360. The 360, I bought one at launch because the graphics upgrade, the new online features looked fucking crazy, and they were putting out a Perfect Dark game and a Project Gotham game, 2 franchises I love at launch. And PS3 came around, and I was like, why almost all these games are on the 360, and the Wii is doing something new and cool and has a Zelda game? Like, why the fuck would you ever buy a PS3? And that was basically my sentiment on PS3 until late 2007, early 2008. Gran Turismo Prologue came out, Metal Gear was out, Uncharted was out, and I was like, well, they're still overpriced and dumb, but I can understand why you buy one, and I ended up buying one. And that thing didn't really hit its stride in the public eye until 2009 when Uncharted 2 came out. They cut the price down to $300, and what Sony needs to stop doing is shooting themselves in the foot with price. Because the Vita is too expensive, the PSP was too expensive, the PS3 was fucking too expensive. They need to understand that people don't want to pay $500 fucking dollars for a game console and $300 for a portable. I'd say the most you're going to get out of someone for a game console is $400, and the most you're going to get out of them for a handheld is $250 if it has a memory card and a game. They constantly fucking price themselves out. They put way too much tech in it, and I love tech. I love the fact that the PS3 can make games like Uncharted 3 happen, and the Vita can do amazing things. But to the average consumer is fine with games looking like Gears 3 does. Like, that game looks great, and they don't give a crap that Uncharted looks better because Gears is still fun and entertaining. And it's just kind of like they need what Sony needs to do is they need to come out at the same time or first, or it's just going to happen again. Where, well, I've had a full year of owning this 720 or this Surface or fucking Durango or whatever the fuck they're going to call it, and all the multi-plats are coming out on this thing also. So so why do I care about the PS4 or the Orbis or whatever the hell they're going to name it?
Also, the 360 is like losing one of its few MMOs, like Phantasy Star Universe. The servers are shutting down in September. So, that's...
Damn it, you made me remember something. That I just forgot. God damn it. I'll come back.
Remember.
That, I just kind of thought of a price.
Oh, yes.
The
Rare. Microsoft, hey. You have properties like Banjo, Jet Force Gemini, Viva Pinata, and I'm pretty sure you have enough money to get GoldenEye. If not, you could bring back Perfect Dark. You got a lot of big franchises that a lot of gamers would like and just sitting there kind of rotting, doing nothing. How about bringing those back? New Jet Force Gemini. Could be big. Shooters are big. If you make a new Perfect Dark and you bring back the franchise and make it modern and play well, probably sell pretty...
Soul Reaver.
There you go. Rare has a lot of good properties that you can use. Or you know what? Sudeki was an interesting Xbox RPG that wasn't fully fleshed out. Why not bring that back? Blink's the Time Sweeper. Let's make a good one of those. Let's you own some interesting IP. Get LucasArts to make another Armed and Dangerous. That game was fucking awesome. You had one of the weapons in that game was called the Topsy-Turvy gun, where you planted a thing in the ground and it literally flipped the fucking planet upside down and all your enemies would fall off it and die and get sucked into the vacuum of space. It was fucking awesome.
Okay. I think we're pretty much finished with the 360 future assessment thing.
Yes,
okay.
On to the Wii U. The Wii U, I honestly... my views on how successful it's going to be has changed. I think the Wii is going to be just as successful as the Wii. Before, when it was around earlier this year, I was like, the Wii U, I think it's going to be the next GameCube. It's not going to sell that well. After seeing how well they've implemented the gamepad, the hype around it, the games they've got, such as Zombie U, the new Mario, I really feel that the Wii U... it's going to be the next Wii. It's going to sell. It's going to be the number one platform. It's going to be the game console that every grandparent's picking up for their grandchild and that families are playing. So I think it's going to be very successful.
I would just like to say, first off, I love the GameCube. And if this turns into another GameCube, sign me up, because Harvest Moon, A Wonderful Life 2, hell yeah.
Yeah.
That was the best one. They haven't made a better one since. But
I think the Wii U is going to do okay.
Yeah, I think it's gonna do exactly what the Wii did. It's gonna be very popular.
Well, for me, the popularity part, I don't know, but I'm for sure it will do at least okay. First off, you got all the Nintendo fans that will buy it for first-party Nintendo games.
Yep.
But that's only like 20 million, 22, 25 million or something.
You only need like 10 to 15 to keep a console alive. So
yeah, because basically, because when I think of it, the GameCube only sold 21 million.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that has to be the minimum. That has to be the minimum number of diehard Nintendo fans that will buy the system for a new Zelda or a new Mario or for the new Pikmin.
The Anthony and Bronson, basically.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure it will do at least okay. Not too sure if it's going to be a blowout success because I don't know. For some reason, I look at the tablet controller and I can't get the feeling this is going to be the next explosive revolution in gaming.
I think that because of the Wii name, people are going to recognize the Wii name, and new Super Mario Brothers and Wii Sports and all these titles that they're getting sequels of that they played on the Wii will get them to migrate over. I think a lot of Wii owners are going to migrate straight over, especially because you can use your Wii controllers and Wii games and Wii peripherals still. Like I I think you're going to get a ton of Wii owners migrating over to it. I think
The thing is that with the design of the system, it's not that every single game will use the tablet controller. The Wiimote and the nunchuck could be used on the Wii U also as the regular controller.
Yep. So anyone else?
Kind of outdated, but
Yeah. Anyone else have any thoughts on the Wii U?
Well, it has the backwards compatibility that you mentioned. I think that's going to be the number one selling point that it has going into our launch dates.
Yep. I know if they're cheap enough and I pick one up at launch, having some backlog of Wii games would be good. Also, they've said all your Virtual Console and WiiWare purchases do carry over to it. So,
For once, hooray!
Hey man, I've spent a lot of money on the Virtual Console. I'm glad that it carries.
Oh, me too. More than I did on actual Wii games.
Anyway, next up is from our staff member on hiatus, Brittany Parks. Do you think the Vita will have a large presence at E3? Well, it didn't. And if you do think, will they huge announcements? They're being kept secret right now.
Well, before E3 happened, I thought that the Vita will have a large presence because first off, you announced God of War Ascension and PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale before E3 happened. So people know already that's coming. So I was thinking they were saving all the secrets and surprises for the Vita.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And I will say this, after looking up Vita games shown at E3, I am really excited for some of those games. And Brittany, I recommended some of those to you, and you liked Mora. So, yeah. Anyone else?
I mean, at the end of the day, we already know what was announced. It was kind of a lackluster performance for the Vita. Hopefully we see more at Tokyo Game Show, but like Bronson said, more than likely it's going to be a lot of games that don't even come to the United States. They're probably going to show off a Monster Hunter, because that will make the platform sell, especially in Japan. Hopefully at Gamescom, I think we might see more about the PlayStation Vita, because Europe and North America are very similar in game tastes versus Japan, that's vastly different. Japan, they could care less about shooters, whereas North America...
Yeah, that's something me and Japan have in common.
Where North America, that's like...
in Japan, the reason why I don't know if this is true, but I read that they don't buy shooters in Japan because of motion sickness.
I really don't believe that.
I don't believe that
either.
That's what I read, and I was like, that can't be right.
Yeah.
Otherwise, everyone in Japan would have been sick from just riding an airplane or something.
Yeah, I don't believe that, but I mean... I expect we'll see what happens at Gamescom, but I mean, at the end of the day, I really hope that this PlayStation Vita doesn't just fall off and fail. I mean, yes, portable platforms aren't near as popular per se as they were when the PSP came out. I mean, more because of like the iPhone, things like that. The portable gaming platform, like dedicated gaming handhelds, has really died down, the demand for them. So I really hope that the device doesn't just die off, just because it's a great device, great platform, great operating system, and it has great features. It's just Sony needs to... I mean, we haven't seen marketing for it. Like, there are people out there who do not even know what a PlayStation Vita is. I mean, that's kind of sad.
Kevin Butler. We need Kevin Butler back.
Kevin Butler needs...
He needs to be the hero and save the Vita with his amazing marketing.
Exactly. Like, I don't get it. Like, PlayStation marketing sucked for the first few years. Then it got amazing with Kevin Butler. And now it's just died off again. It's like, really? Like... it's upsetting, because PlayStation comes out with all these great products, all these great titles, and they just don't get the praise that they deserve because they don't market them. Whereas Microsoft comes out with a few games, but they throw their marketing budget into it, and the game
better
blows
with
up.
Kinect on Xbox 360.
Okay,
That's on gaming commercials. The Mass Effect 3 commercial, yeah, it's a multi-plat, but at the end it says better with Kinect on Xbox 360.
Okay, so I did find a site where they interviewed some people asking them about Western games, and a lot. Let's see, if it's a Western game where you don't kill people, then I like it. It's because there are no really interesting characters. Lots of time they end up lame because they have so much gross out and other kinds of indecency. Then there's some comments like, hey, there are a lot of good ones like Skyrim and Oblivion, Fallout, FIFA, and 2K games. In fact, I've been playing nothing but Western games recently. Let's see. Looking for
the Japanese games, you do spend a lot of time killing monsters, right?
Yeah.
Because I think about it, it's like in Final Fantasy, you're killing mostly monsters. Xenoblade, it's monsters. Persona, you're not really killing people, more like whatever it is.
Yep.
Indecency, I could see that, but
Because maybe they're just not real big on like shooting people.
Yeah,
they're not. I don't think they're big on the whole vulgar violence with pumped up action, explosions, and loud music with guns blazing as you're running into the building.
Fuck yeah!
Oh man, you put that out in Japan and one person would buy it just to laugh at it.
Let's see. Here's one. See the image that Western games are all war games. I hate FPS war games. Without exception, will not play them. But there are other ones I like quite a bit, like the modeling. From a Japanese perspective, it's kind of primitive, or how should I put it? I don't hate them. But when you see the girls in Skyrim, no one thinks that they are cute.
So no one buys Skyrim because it doesn't have cute girls.
Well, hold on. When you think of how Korean games are spreading as they are, the degree of diffusion of so-called Western games is pathetic. Well, these days, with the strong yen, it's probably not really the time to invest in inexpensive advertising, so they'll have a hard time going forward as well. Okay. So...
And with all the English...
well, this is obviously translated, so...
Oh, I was like, what?
I had a hard time understanding that whole sentence. So.
Yeah.
Well, poor translation, I can't help it.
Maybe they just shoved it into Google Translator.
Yeah.
And just like, that's good enough.
Yeah.
So anyways, what was the question?
It was, we thought about the Vita. Shout out to the Vita. Okay, we've already talked about our thoughts on the Wii U, so scratch that one. Nick, what was it like having the limo all week?
I mean, it was nice. I mean, downtown LA is not the most convenient place to drive, so obviously not having to drive, riding in style. I mean, it was nice. I mean, I had a limo last E3, and the guys, big shout out to Crown Limo LA, the company that gave the transportation this E3. I mean, it's nice. I'm going place to place, having plenty of room, especially getting back from the convention center back to the room. There's some nights where I felt like my legs were about to fall off. It was 2 o'clock in the morning. I felt dead, so I was literally able to pass out and get a good 30-minute nap in before I got back to the room. So overall, it was very nice, and I'm thankful for it.
Okay. So, Nick, can you tell us some things that go on behind the scenes?
I mean, pretty much, when it comes to stuff behind the scenes, planning for E3 starts 2 months ahead of time. Pretty much getting interviews, stuff like that scheduled up. It's not just getting to E3 and saying, oh, I want to interview with you. Here's the mic, talk. You got to set up stuff beforehand. You got to arrange a schedule. Scheduling is a pain because you'll schedule something, you think you'll have it set in stone, but then you want to get an interview with this company for this game. Oh, but we've only got this time. Oh, I already got something booked that time. Okay, go ahead and mark me down. Let me see if I can get the other company to swap it out. It's a hassle. Other stuff goes on behind the scenes. I mean, when you see the interviews on the website, you think everything goes smooth. That's not always the case. Sometimes you do run into technical difficulties. Sometimes you have people trying to jump in front of the camera. You have all types of stuff like that, and you don't really see that hit the website. I mean, one thing that I would like to do, and once I have the financial budget to do it, I will do so, is to have a cameraman to record 24/7. Not 24/7. Obviously, you guys don't need to see me sleeping, but
I think Jenny would like to see you sleeping.
oh God, I'm sure Jenny would not appreciate that comment, Bronze. But anyways, to pretty much go around filming everything, because there's so much that happens, and it's like, damn, I wish I had that on camera. And just to put like a compilation video together of like behind the scenes of E3, like what happens, what does not make it on tape, that would be awesome. So I mean, kind of, there's almost too much that goes on behind the scenes to really go in depth on it. It's kind of one of those things you have to experience. But another thing, the people you meet in the industry, they're a lot cooler than you'd originally think. I mean, not that you specifically look at these people as lame or anything like that, but when you actually meet them in person, they're really cool. Just because, I mean, when you're talking to them over email, over the phone, they're kind of behind a wall. Everything can be tracked. Whereas if you meet them in person, well, guess what? You're just hanging with another person. They work for this company, but they're allowed to say whatever they want now because they know it can't be tracked. So, also, I mean, I'm not going to recommend this, but a lot of the parties, you have a lot of people working at companies and stuff like that, and pretty much all the parties are open bars, so, I mean, you'll see a lot of people trying to get people that work with companies to get some drinks in them, and kind of leak some information out, and that's kind of how a lot of rumors come out. So,
give them a roofie, and then you take them back to the room and interview them.
There you go. So, yeah, that's just a taste of what goes on behind the scenes. But one of these days, I will have a camera guy. Pretty much all he does is will be recording everything and have it edited down to like a 20-30 minute video, compilation video of pretty much every single thing that happens, just so you guys have a better idea. Like, I would love...
We need to have a minute of at least you sleeping.
Well, I'm sure we can make that happen. Let us know in the comment section if that'd be something you guys be interested in, seeing me sleep for a minute.
Yeah. Or me sleeping in a car, because apparently I am fucking toss and turn and, snore like a banshee in my sleep.
That'd probably be more entertaining.
Well, yeah. So
this week on the Gamer Access, Bronson naps.
Yep.
Anyways.
Everyone got their words in? Next. Mm-hmm. Alright.
What are your thoughts on the Wii U now?
God damn it, Anthony, quit stealing my thunder.
You stole my thunder at the intro of the Gamecast once, okay?
We already talked about the Wii U enough. That's why I didn't say that one first.
Okay.
Unless you guys want to talk about the Wii U more.
We'll beat a dead horse.
Alright. Nick, what type of swag did you get at E3?
Honestly, I didn't get too much. When I went to E3, that wasn't really my goal. My goal was getting on coverage done, getting interviews done, meeting and networking with people. So swag really wasn't my priority. But, I mean, just cruising the floor, I did get some stuff. Obviously, I went to Sony Press Conference, so I got a year of PlayStation Plus for free. I got a couple t-shirts. Like, I got a Far Cry 3 t-shirt, Assassin's Creed t-shirt, few other t-shirts I can't even remember. Honestly, I haven't even went through the swag I got yet. Got a couple keychains, posters, cups, but nothing too extravagant. Like I said, it wasn't really something where it's like, okay, what swag can I get? That wasn't really my priority. My schedule was backed up with interviews, meetings, networking, stuff like that. So I didn't really have time. But hey, if I was at a booth doing an interview and they said, oh, hey, take a t-shirt, yeah, sure, I took a t-shirt. So I got a cool PlayStation cooler cup. But I mean, outside that, I didn't get as much swag as I could have. Once again, that wasn't my priority. So.
Okay. Next up, what was the worst moment of E3? Wonderbook.
Yep, I've ranted about that enough.
The worst moment, I mean, as far as I don't want to throw something typical out there. Just from something, I guess, some behind the scenes. You do have a lot at these parties. They're fun. But when they're open bar, you do have people that get out of hand sometimes. And, I mean, sometimes just stuff happens. So, I mean, there was I'm not going to go in depth, there's no reason to, but there was a situation that popped off at one of the parties that I wasn't necessarily too appreciative of, but it's over with, I got over it, and it does not impact me to this day. So it's just one of those things you have to deal with. It's happened at PAX East, it's happened at CES. I'm used to it. So the joy of going to conferences where people get drunk.
Okay, so what do you guys think of The Last of Us and Zombie U? I think we've talked about this a lot. I think both
amazing.
Oh, and Beyond. Yeah, I think all
amazing.
Yeah,
there you go.
All of them look impressive. Anyone have anything else to say?
Nope.
No.
Sorry, everybody. It's late at night. I'm trying to get through this because I'm starving.
Okay, I got an advice for you, Bronson. Before we continue, every show at near the end, you're like, okay, I'm starving. I haven't eaten. Eat before the show.
Yeah, I know.
But continue.
All right, so this is from Aubrey R. She's the one who wrote the novel on episode 9, I want to say.
Probably 8.
While I do not agree, I do respect and appreciate all you responding to my comment from this show. Anyway, I'm still a fan and respect what you guys do. Here are my comments. By the way, you guys had me in tears and laughter. Nick, what's up with all the females tweeting about you during E3? Sure, I do not have a Twitter account, but I read the people mentioning you publicly, and there were at least 15 girls hitting you up, speaking about your or tweeting pics with you during E3. LOL. Yeah, Nick, what's up with that?
I mean,
Ladies man.
I don't want people to get the wrong thoughts, because that tends to happen a lot. But I mean, at the end of the day, there are a lot of females in the game industry that I'm cool with. I mean, look at now, we've got like 5-6 females on the Gamer Access now. I mean, that's just it. I'm not opposed to dudes. Obviously, we got dudes on the Gamer Access as well. I communicate and meet up with dudes all over the place at these events as well. But
I want someone to take that sentence out of context.
oh my god, I knew someone would. I knew if someone didn't comment on the show, someone would comment in the comment section. Go ahead and throw your laughs out there. Ha 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 ha.
It's okay. Everyone on this site gets in contact with dudes quite often.
Anyways, but yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I came in contact with a lot of females in the game industry that I've either worked with in the past. So yes, you might. There was a night I went out for dinner with like Jessica, a couple of her friends. I've worked with Jessica. She helped me cover E3 last year. A couple other females. I mean, just really cool with, and I mean, they actually know what they're talking about in the gaming industry. I think part of the reason why, not that I necessarily that. The reason why I have a click with them and they have a click with me is the fact that I treat them like actual women that play games and like games, not as they're some object in the industry. I treat them as a genuine female that is a part of the industry, whereas other guys, they may be like, oh my god, you're a female and you're in the gaming industry? Oh my god. Like, that's not how I treat them. Like, I treat them as a genuine human being, just like you should. So I feel that's kind of the reason why I have that click with them. So, I mean, whenever we go to these events, we always meet up with them. Jessica Negri's really cool. Rachel Moore, I'm sure you guys have heard a lot about Rachel Moore. She's really cool. Met up with a lot of new females. Michaela, big shout out to her. So yeah, I mean, Amy, she was one of my assistants. I mean, at the end of the day, I communicate with a lot of females in the game industry, but I also communicate with a lot of guys. So yeah, don't really have anything further to say on that.
All right, Nick, the ladies' man, everyone. Next event, he's gonna come with a purple suit and a diamond cane.
That auto-tunes his voice.
I already got
Yes.
it. I already got an iced out diamond ring. I already got that part locked down.
All right, which people did you meet for the first time, and who were the highly successful people you tweeted about in a meeting? And what game did you guys have no plans of buying it until seeing at E3? For me, it was Assassin's Creed 3 to the second question. Nick can only answer the first one.
Which people I meet? Adam Sessler I met for the first time. I mean, honestly, it's all like a blur now. There's so many people I met for the very first time. Obviously, I mean, most of the people that I interviewed, it was the very first time that I'd met them. So, I mean, a lot of the big names like Major Nelson, Michael Pachter, David Jaffe, I've already met up with them before. Cliffy B, like I've already met with all those guys. So yes, I reconnected with them, but it wasn't a first. As far as the highly successful people, unfortunately, I cannot speak on that quite yet. But hopefully in the near future. But the meeting went great. And I'm looking forward to where things go later this year, possibly later this summer. No promises, but as soon as the results come out and I'm allowed to speak on it, you will know, trust me, you will know, because it will be everywhere and I will make sure of that. So look out for that. Like I said, possibly later this fall, if not later this summer, if not later this year. Hey, it may not be into the fall. I do not know. That's something that I don't have any more knowledge than you do. But it's something that I've been working with very successful people on, and it's coming out pretty good. So definitely looking forward to seeing the results. Which game did I have no plans of buying until I saw more during E3? PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, to be honest with you. I really wasn't that impressed with what they had showed on television, but when I got my hands on, I'm like, this game is going to be a fun party game. Like, this is the type of game that I can see get on my friend guys. Let's hop on PlayStation All-Stars. Like, it's one of those games that I really see being a real genuine fun party game. It's not hardcore. You're not going to see Kratos cutting people's heads off. You're not going to see that. It is more in the engine's more of that cartoon, has more of that cartoon vibe to it. But in the day, it's still genuine fun, and that's what we play games for, is to have fun. So that's my game that I originally had no plans to purchase, but definitely I will own it day one.
Okay, yeah, for me it was Assassin's Creed on the Vita and Assassin's Creed in general.
For me, I don't think that was a game that I wasn't particularly interested in, that I was convinced otherwise. So,
I really, really want to get Assassin's Creed 3 after seeing that, and I was only sold on a Vita because of Persona 4, but now I'm really excited about Liberations. And there's one other thing. Oh, I wasn't going to get a Wii U after seeing Zombie U and some of the other stuff on the Wii U. Like, I need it.
I just remembered now, The Last of Us.
Oh my god!
I didn't find it interesting. The first trailer I watched, I was like, okay, well, what can I do with this? And after I saw that demo, I will get it.
Please
amazing.
do.
The AI the way the AI responds to everything is insane. So I'm definitely gonna get that.
Pissed if anyone I know does not get that game. Seriously, that game is incredible. I got to play it at E3. I got hands on with it. Trust me, this game is not a game to miss out on.
All right. Next up, Nick, how'd you piss off Will Wheaton? Otherwise known as PAX Jesus.
Alright, so how I pissed off Will Wheaton. So we're at the AMD party, and I had a VIP booth, because I'm really cool with the guys at AMD, so I had a VIP booth, and they were chilling, relaxing with people, open bar. They had like sliders, like this Japanese food. It was awesome, great food. But it was the game. I mean, I don't follow hockey, but if they had won that game, the LA Kings would have won the Stanley Cup. And it was going on during E3. Luckily, they lost, so I didn't have to deal with the madness. They came back and won when I was back from LA. But regardless, Will Wheaton was there. I didn't know who the guy was prior. I mean, I heard the name, mainly because of PAX, the Wheaton Law, and all this stuff. But I didn't really know what he was famous for or how famous he was. But so he was sitting across from us, and he was wearing an LA Kings jersey or whatever, and I was sitting right below the television. So I got up. I was going to get more food, get a drink. I can't remember. And I stood up for like a second, and the guy's like, "Yo, sit down." And I'm like, "Who the hell's that yelling at me like that? Like, what the hell's wrong with him?" So I stood there and gave him a look for a second. I'm like, okay. So went up, got my food. Whenever came back, all was good. And then the guy I was next to, Torrance, he was like, "Dude, you just pissed Will Wheaton off." And I'm like, so that's that Will Wheaton guy? And he's like, yeah. And he told me, he was in Star Trek, this and that. And I'm like, that's cool. I was like, still doesn't justify him getting pissed off at me, though. So I was like, whatever. And I stood up, and once again, he started yelling at me. And I'm not going to go much further on what happened, but, I mean, nothing serious happened or anything like that. But, there was a verbal argument.
Had a bar fight with Will Wheaton.
It wasn't a bar fight, but there was a verbal...
Did you Wesley crush him?
It was a verbal argument. A verbal argument did take place. But, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't care who you are. You just don't talk to me like that. That's kind of the person I am. I'm built on respect, and obviously he didn't have that. I've heard Will Wheaton's a really cool guy, and he may be cool. Maybe he had too many drinks. I don't know. All I know is the only opinion I've based on that guy is the one time I encountered him, and it wasn't in a positive way.
I've only met Will Wheaton once. He seemed like a really cool dude. I like his work. Ironically, I like all of his work besides Star Trek, which is what he's really famous for. So, yeah, I don't know. Also, I would just like to say, if someone was walking in front of a Broncos game, I'd probably yell too. So.
And then I would get in a verbal argument with you.
Yes.
I'm passionate about sports too, trust me. If the freaking Super Bowl's going on and my Steelers are playing, whooping a team, I don't want you getting in front of the television. But if you're up there for a second, I don't care. Just don't stand there and talk while you're standing up, which I'm fine with. But if you're up for a second and you're on your way out, cool, I'm fine with it. And even if you did stand up, I'm not going to freaking start yelling at you. I'm going to ask you, hey, you mind moving? If you don't move, then you go to that next level. You don't just skip a level and start a verbal argument, regardless of who you are.
Let's get some drinks in you and then see.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
he probably had too many drinks. I mean, it was a good 2 hours in, and it was open bar, and I mean, they had pretty much anything you want. So that was probably the case, which is why I'm not like all anti Will Wheaton. I'm not like that. I mean, the guy.
I'm gonna be honest. From his Twitter, he probably was drunk because I was following that shit on Twitter, and that dude was tweeting about how like him and Kevin Smith were rooting for opposite teams in that hockey game, and Kevin Smith had forsaken Batman as his god.
Okay, yeah, he was okay. So
yeah, he was probably pretty fucking drunk. I'm gonna be honest.
Which okay, and it was a done deal. Like I said, it wasn't a big deal. The whole reason why it even got out on Twitter, I wasn't even planning to post anything. But Torrance, he's really cool. But he felt the need. Nick, which on my Twitter at the Gamer Access, just pissed off Will Wheaton. And I'm like, oh, that's funny. That may stir some debate. So I retweeted it, and people are like, oh my God, Nick pissed off Will Wheaton. And I was like, and I'm like, man, if I would only had that on video, I probably could have sold it to TMZ or something.
Yeah, man. I'll say like
that would have been viral. Freaking Nick McCandless argued. Well, like Will Wheaton gets into like a bar fight. Just like name it that and upload it on YouTube. That junk could have went viral. Like the Gamer Access could be bigger than IGN right now.
Oh yeah, dude.
Famous for starting a bar fight with Will Wheaton. That would be perfect.
I think I'm the only person who would be sober and post on Twitter, "Batman, why hast you forsaken me?" So yeah, I will say this. I met that dude at PAX. Seemed like a nice dude. Like his work. Probably drunk. Which, if a bar was open for 2 hours and I was there, I would definitely be drunk. So I'm not gonna judge that. And Jenny wants to know, hey Nick, you've been working out more. Your biceps seem to be pumping out. I'm telling you. You are going to be stalked.
I do go to the gym, so I'm glad you can see the results. I don't really know how to respond to that, but yeah.
That was the last question.
All right.
Pumping out.
Sweet.
Anything else anyone has to say?
I do want to address one last thing. I got an email earlier this week, and it got posted on the Gamer Access, so I'm not going to read it.
I wanted to read that, but I didn't know if...
Yeah, I'm just going to go over it really quickly, because I've had a couple people email me since then asking about it. So I got the email, and I read it and it kind of like touched me on an emotional level. Like that's why I decided to post it on the site. Like I get a lot of emails, almost on a daily basis from fans, and I don't really post them on the site. And it's not something I really necessarily plan to do on a regular basis. It's just the whole reason why I put it up is this one kind of, like I've always stated, my main goal in what I'm doing in this gaming industry is to change the negative outlook on gamers, because people look at gamers in a negative fashion for multiple reasons. And
nerd pride.
And I mean, I kind of want to be that person that kind of changes how people look at it. And when I got this email from Ashley, it just kind of seemed like she was almost thanking me for achieving that goal and working towards that goal, because she said it's impacted her on a personal level, and she's a female, obviously, and she said how she didn't really feel comfortable admitting that she was a gamer just because of the negative outlook, but because of these females that have joined the Gamer Access, the females such as Brittany, who's went to CES, went to PAX East, been in front of the camera, gotten better and done more in the game industry, she feels like it's something more comfortable to do, something that's actually cool to be a part of.
I think that I definitely think that is one thing we do is show off that gamers come from all fucking backgrounds on this site. I personally have never been fucking ashamed to say I'm a gamer. I really have never given a crap what people think about me personally. Because
right, but a lot of people do.
Oh yeah, a lot of people do.
And I'll be honest with you, I was kind of one of those people. Like I used to play high school sports. Like I was a freaking high school jock. Like throughout my career before I had an injury, and that kind of led me into what I do today. But I mean, the fact that we are changing people's like lives personally, based off of what you're doing, that really like hits it home on why I do what I do.
I absolutely loved it. I thought it was I thought it was a fantastic email. I loved reading it. I'm glad that we can affect people that way. Like I said, personally, I never went through that of like being ashamed of being a gamer. I was proud of it. I would have high school football practice in the afternoon, and then at lunch go to Gamers Club, because we had that at our high school. Like it was like I didn't care, like, because I guess because when I was younger I got teased quite a bit for being really geeky, because I read a lot and everyone around me seemed like a moron because, well, they kind of were in comparison.
But yeah, I mean, just at the end of the day, like I said, I get email, and I appreciate everyone. Like I did not want to make it seem like I was singling her out. This is the last thing I wanted to do. I truly appreciate every bit of praise we get, whether it's in the comment section, in the email. I appreciate it all. I did not mean to single it out. The only reason why I posted this was simply because of I have a goal in this industry, and it seems like it's being achieved. It's affected this person on a personal level. And just hearing things like that just kind of it enhances my drive, and it encourages me. It's like there's been times, I mean, I haven't thought this recently, I don't think I'll ever think it again, but there has been times it's where I ask myself, I'm like, Nick, why are you doing this again? Like, so you're not making a living off of it. You aren't getting the attention that you feel you deserve. Why do you even do this? And like that's a stupid question. Like I never even ask myself that anymore, because if I'm affecting people on a personal level right now, that only makes me think, well, once I attract more fans, become bigger, like how much more people can we impact? Not just me, but the site in general, because Ashley specifically stated the females on the site, because she's a female and she just likes to see that there's females in the industry, and she specifically stated that are not getting paid to be a pretty face on camera, pretty much. Because I mean, you have those Olivia Munns out there who don't know crap about gaming, they just read off a script. They're getting paid because they are attractive, they're on camera, and they're talking about games. Well, most dudes are attracted to females, so they see an attractive female talking about games, bam, that they're gonna nut themselves over it. Whereas
I don't think that. I think my first thought is, because I'm bitter, is okay, is she getting paid or not?
Right, and that, there's not to say that there aren't attractive females that know things about games. There's plenty of them. There is plenty of them, but there are those.
Half of our staff.
Right, but there are those that don't, and to know that there are people that are noticing that, it really hits me. It's like, okay, like there's never a time that I'll ever have to ask myself, why am I doing this again? Because it's clear. I mean, and that's a person contact me. That reminds me, like, how many people are impacted, they just aren't saying anything. Because I know, I mean, obviously with our website, when I look at how many hits an article gets versus the comments, it's crazy. An article will get 10,000 hits, but 4 comments. Statistics prove not many people respond. I mean, at the end of the day, I can't blame people. I mean, I go to websites, I might listen to a podcast or read something. I never comment. I can't remember the last time I commented on an article or a podcast that's not on the Gamer Access. I seriously cannot remember. So I can't blame people for that. It's just human nature. So to know that this one person contacted me lets me know that there's even more people out there like that. So, yeah. I just kind of wanted to talk about that briefly. But is there anything else anyone wants to say about that?
I thought it was really cool.
Yeah,
I wish I could make more.
Well, Anthony, I'm giving you that opportunity this summer.
Yeah. Well, there's just so many obstacles in the path right now on my quest to make more awesome stuff. Like, I feel kind of bad that the most recent thing I made was my Mass Effect 3 video review from 3 months ago.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel kind of bad about that. So.
You know, I love getting letters like this in general, emails, any kind of, feedback from anyone, be it good or bad. But this was a great letter. It's always good to know we're getting positive feedback. Especially because we do this in our free time, and at times it's kind of like, well, fuck, I don't want to write a 3-page review, that like, I don't want to write a fucking 3-page review, but then I see this and I'm like, oh, all right, you know what, fine, I'm gonna go write this and proof edit it and whatnot. Or like, another example is, like, Anthony and I don't have to spend 3 hours a week at my house recording audio, recording video, etc., but we do because, well, you guys enjoy it, and to an extent we enjoy it. And in my case, I want to make this into a career, and
right. That's with me too. Like,
it's always great to get that positive feedback.
Right, and I don't want to make it seem like making money in this industry is bad. It's not. That's my goal. Yeah. Like, I want to make this my career.
I really don't have.
I want to make this my. I want.
We love you guys.
I want to make this my career, but at the end of the day, I'm not doing this.
Great motivator for everybody on the TJ staff, and I think it's a really good letter for just about everybody in the TJ audience to read. Also,
right. I mean,
as for your question about how the frog is coming. I haven't heard from the frog in over a week now, so I'm a little concerned.
I'm going to say thank you for actually listening to the Gamecast, because I have no idea who listens to that, but as its host, it's good to know someone does.
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, I want to make something clear. If you make money in the industry, that's not bad. That's my goal. I want to make
anything else before closing?
The last thing I want to say is pretty much like when I said that, because I want to make this clear. I've had people contact me about this, about making money in the industry. I don't want to make that seem bad. I mean, that's my end-all goal. Like, I want to make this a career for me, But at the end of the day, I'm not in it just for the money. I mean, you have people that go to school for journalism, and they just happen to get thrown into the gaming industry because there's a slot. Not because they give a crap about games. It's just they have a journalism degree, and guess what? There's a game journalism job. There's no other job in any of the other fields. Okay, fine. I'll write about video games, whatever.
It's kind of ironic. That's how Adam Sessler got his job in games.
Right, but Adam Sessler actually utilized that, and he's become someone that actually respect in the industry. Not many people can do that. How many Adam Sesslers are there? There's not many. So, I mean, yes, there will be.
A book. Like, I would kill to read a book written by Adam Sessler on the industry.
I mean, there will, and you can quote me on this, there will be a day that
Nick conquers the world.
That a career position will be in place. And the Gamer Access will be taken to that next level. You can quote me on that because I've like I said, I know what's going on behind the scenes. I know the type of opportunities that are being discussed and what's on the table. I can't predict the future, but I know what opportunities are coming up, and that time will come. It's just your guys' support, the people such as Ashley, Jay Sway, Jenny. I mean, people that comment all the time, Cray T. Like, I cannot thank you guys enough. Even if you don't comment, I mean, I see the numbers. And that's one thing I mentioned. Like, I see numbers all day, but when I actually get a letter from someone, that just takes things to the next level. Because, I mean, looking at numbers is boring, to be honest. Oh, so we got 7,000 visits today. Yesterday we had 6,500. The day before we had 8,000. It's like, that's cool, but those are just numbers. I have no connection with a number, whereas someone actually writing in, that kind of gives me that connection. So we greatly appreciate anyone that comments, even if it's negative. Aubrey, for example, she wrote like Bronson said, a novel, kind of talking about a couple things that I don't necessarily agree with, but to know that she took the time to write that, and well, she respects that we responded to it in a certain manner. I'm fine with that. I'm cool with that. So I just wanted to address that very shortly. Once again, did not mean to single her out. I did contact her beforehand. Hey, is it cool if I post this on the website? And I just don't want people to seem like, well, I've thanked you, and I've sent in praise, and you never. This is the first time I've ever done this. It's not gonna be the last time, but it's not gonna be a regular occurrence. It's something that hit my heart, and I felt, hey, why not post this on the site? So, anything else before we close out the show?
Piggybacking off of that, like, me personally, I do want to make this a career, writing and making videos and podcasting about games. Preferably, I'd love to see the Gamer Access get big and, grow like that, or go to a bigger site or whatever. But right now, the goal is to make this the best site we possibly can, and for me to produce content for it. That is the best I can possibly make, and that's what you're going to get from me every week. And I think the rest of the site the same. And one last thing is, like we've said earlier, Anthony and I are going to play through an entire video game for you fine folks, and there's a video up where you can vote on one of the 3 games for us to play through. So you should go do that.
Mm-hmm. Right, I think that's about it.
All right, so that concludes Unscripted Access episode number 11. Thank you all for listening. We look forward to reading your comments, your questions. Feel free to write in. We appreciate everything you guys do, and we should have a lot more content coming for you guys. E3 coverage is wrapping up, so that will come to a close very soon. But that means we'll be getting back onto the regular schedule. There will be an Unscripted Access every week, Nick's Gaming View every week. Start doing a lot more videos on the site. And
yeah, the Let's Plays. We're going to try to get 3 to 4 a week. I forgot to tell them about that. So
yeah, so we're going to have a ton of video content coming to the site, which is one of the number 1 requested features for you guys. I understand a lot of you guys don't necessarily like to read stuff. You'd rather listen or watch. So we are delivering that.
I can't blame them because I'm one of the writers, and God knows I'm terrible.
So yeah, I mean, with that being said, I mean, there's a lot of people that do like to read. There's people that saying don't abandon the text. We like reading text. We do video, but we still like to see the articles. We're keeping those, but at the same time, we're still accelerating on what we're offering as far as video goes. So you guys can look out for that starting very, very soon, probably by the time this podcast gets up. So once again, we thank you all for your support. We are out.
Bye.
Bye.
Brief history of video games starting soon. Don't know when.
Good night and good luck.
Peace. Love you all.